The movement of life in this universe is not made by blind coincidence as some imagine. For those who are lost, there is the hope and power of God Almighty that stands behind it. Therefore, the divine approach that He revealed from the creation and drawing of the movement of life, can only be truly carried good for the creatures of this universe. Do you have the key? If so, how will you get there, and why do you want to go there in the first place? Existence. This word occupies the minds of all philosophers and great thinkers, and sometimes it occupies the minds of small thinkers and everyone who wants to understand where his position is within this existence and what is the purpose of this existence first, and then what is the purpose of his existence as a human being in this existence second. Of course, we will never understand everything about existence no matter how much we think about it. Because existence expands as our mind's ability to comprehend expands. Meaning for every minute that our perception advances, existence advances a minute or a billion or an infinite number of minutes forward as well. It's like two straight parallel lines that never meet, but these two lines are not necessarily parallel. One of them is always ahead of the other to make the other one behind. Universal or total existence. There is no such definition. People have different opinions and philosophies about this definition. Is the memory changed or erased upon reaching a new existence? Is it a continuation of the previous memory? Does it cut out what isn't wanted? Is existence an integral part of God, or is existence a separate part of God? The most important question is how there are several ways to be asked or phrased. Does time have anything to do with it? I mean, is existence an integral part of God before God created it? I don't think so, otherwise, God Himself would not exist, and when God does not exist, existence would not exist at all if we consider that God is the cause or creator of existence, considering that God has no beginning and no end, so He always exists before anything because God Himself is the God who created existence itself. Where did existence exist before God created it? Does existence have numbers or types? If yes, where does existence exist when it has not yet been created by God? Is there a separation between them? If there is such a separation, it must have a beginning and an end. How can it have a beginning when it has not yet been created by God? So, here's where we determine that existence did not exist before God. So, it has to have a cause or it wouldn't exist. Who is the cause of existence? Since God exists before existence, then He is the one who created existence. God doesn't need time because God is the creator of time. Since God is the creator of time, He must perceive time simultaneously as present, past, and future, considering that time does not involve God and that existence did not exist before God. Living things or organisms. In terms of form, mechanism, will, and qualities when they move from one existence to another, if such a transition occur or will occur. Most importantly, the quality and mechanism of communication that is adopted in the other existence. It could have the same mechanism. Since there is a heaven and hell as a transition from one existence to another, the mechanism, will, and attributes of man must change. Are not the same standards and the same measures that existed in the previous existence. So here we come to the conclusion that God is the first and the last before the existence of existence and knows what was, what is, and what is not, and how it would be if it were. We know that the laws of the article, and the systems of the universe, are fixed and drawn with the wisdom of the divine since this creation. We know that civilizational upgrading is by discovering aspects of these systems and laws and directing it according to the civilizational purpose of a generation. Civilization is the extent of human awareness of these laws and related to employing them in civilizational problems, according to the system of moral values. This does not mean that these systems change, according to the desire and direction of man, or that, and are found after discovery, laws and now. The human being as he who changes and develops is our awareness of these laws and fixed systems, and our ability to use and benefit from the laws and regulations governing the created and governed material are within the framework of space and time. This is something that is the divine approach related to the attributes of God Almighty, the wise, the expert, and what received from him is great. Evidence of order and occurrence, proof of possibility. The problem is the drowning of new atheists in swirls of scientific theories, problems, the absence of systematic research, and ignorance of the philosophy. Islam briefly highlights the problem of denying God. In fact, dialogue with these people is in the theory of knowledge, not in biological and physical information, because they distort biological and physical facts in a way that contradicts the theory of true knowledge and depends on ignorance that produces knowledge that is not productive at all. There are clear features in the theory of knowledge, on which the atheists are based, including four main basic things, which are first, the saying that nothingness produces existence, and secondly, negating causation, and third, production by randomization, and fourth, that what is not understood does not exist, that is, lack of conscience indicates not being. So, we say first, their saying of nothingness produces existence. This saying cannot be scientifically proven, because it is impossible, and losing something that does not give it, and the impossible cannot be proven, because the meaning of turning nothing into existence is the meeting of the two extremes at the moment of the coup, and it is one of the mental impossible. How can it prove the existence of a mental impossible? It suffices to say that the coup of nothingness into existence by itself without an external factor is impossible, and this is a decisive answer. Second, negating the causal, it means that the same knowledge cannot be obtained, because the knowledge itself is based on the evidence of causation between the unknown and the known and the result. If the ties are broken by denying the causality, then there is no knowledge. It is necessary for the one who denies the causality to be silent and not speak with science, because there is no knowledge in the way of his theory. Then finding and allocating the possible in the external quota without reason is an unlikely probability of my existence, and this is not accepted by the atheist himself. If someone hit the atheist with a stone, he does not have to object, because this behavior occurred without a reason at all. That laws are effective in the universe, whether the law of evolution or the physical and chemical laws, so how can they be effective, and have denied the causation at the beginning? Third, production by random means. The calculations of the possibilities made the idea of finding by random and accidental way a funny process, but rather reaching the impossibility. Scientists calculated the time of producing one basic protein in nature as a matter of chance, so if it needs a time equivalent to joggles of the age of the universe, jugulate is 10^{100). We convey to you what was reported by chemists and mathematicians. Protein production consisting of 100 molecules of amino acids, installed to be a simple protein. Some of the organism's proteins consist of 600 molecules. Here they assumed that half of the known acids needed to be mixed to form a protein, that is, about 40 proteins. The possibility of a repeat of the process required is equal to 2.6 times 10^220 installation cycles, even if each mixing cycle consists in 1 second, and this is impossible, so we need so much seconds. Though we turned the age of the universe 14.3 billion years into seconds, so NASA has set the age of the universe at about 13.7 billion years, and there is another account that says the age of the universe is 12.5 billion years, so we took the highest estimates mentioned. The time of the probabilistic reaction cycles is more than the potential age of the universe by 1.9 * 10 to the power of 204. Which is a number beyond imagination, and it means that it is completely impossible to make one protein randomly because its manufacture is not sufficient by the age of the universe nor by its likes. Targeted production must be done, and this is the act of God, and it is called what the atheist calls, but this is the truth. By this, we have demonstrated that their calculations of the possibility of producing randomness through probabilities are never correct, and this unscientific lie has fallen. Fourth, the lack of conscience indicates their lack of existence. This saying, which most of their ideas were built upon in the negation of the Creator. It is an intellectual defect, and it is more like madness because it is an irrational sensory saying. Even the sensuous cannot say that they deny what they do not see and do not know, but they say we do not know that and do not generate knowledge for us, so where is the science they claim? It is Richard Dawkins say, I am against religion because he teaches us to be satisfied with not understanding the world. And he spoke. He also said that religion is the transformation of beliefs whose validity has not been tested into facts that cannot be shaken by the power of institutions and the passage of time. This indicates that the theory of knowledge is only experimental and is not subject to the mental approach, a theory that eats itself, given that the experiment itself is based on tribal mental rules, and if it rejects it, it will not have knowledge. Meet one of the miracles of the Holy Quran in flies that baffled scholars. O people! A parable is presented, so listen to it. Those you invoke besides God will never create a fly, even if they banded together for that purpose. And if the fly steals anything from them, they cannot recover it from it. Weak are the pursuer and the pursued. They do not value God as he should be valued. God is strong and powerful. The miracles of the Holy Quran are innumerable. Today, we have one of those miracles in the Quran that has puzzled many scholars and intellectuals. God said in his wise book, which falsehood does not come from his hands or behind him. Those who pray without God will not create a fly, even if they meet with him, and if the flies rob them of something that is not saved from him, the weakness of the student and what is required is not saved from him. They did not appreciate God's right that God is for the strongest of the deer, Surah Al-Hajj, 73. Meaning, those who pray without God will not create a fly even if they meet him, i.e., if all the idols and idols who worship him come together, they will be able to create one fly, they will not be able to do so. As Imam Ahmed said about the Prophet, he said, "Who is the darkest of those who have gone is created as a creationist. Let them create a speck, let them create a ritual." He also said, if the flies take away something from which they do not save them, i.e., they are unable to create a single fly. Because this and flies are one of God's weakest and most despicable creatures, that's why, he said, the weakness of the student and what is required. The fly has no stomach. If the fly steals something from human food, it will not be able to recover it no matter what it does, and anatomical science shows that the fly has no stomach. Modern science has proven that there are secretions in flies that convert everything they pick up into materials that are completely different from what they picked up, so we can't tell the truth about the material you picked up, so we can never save this material from it. It is known, of course, that the stomach is the main organ in digesting food. The fly therefore releases an enzyme on the substance that it will eat and dissolves it outside its body before eating it, and then absorbs it into a tube inside its body, and the food is immediately absorbed into the blood, so the stage of digestion that makes the food remain in the stomach of the organism, and even if we cut the flies to get out what he ate, we will find nothing, because as mentioned earlier it has no stomach. Here I have demonstrated that their calculations of the atheist possibility are full error and not true, so by now, we have reached the end of the dialogue. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.